Ladies and gentlemen, it's my very great pleasure tonight to introduce our former Nebraska Attorney General. Please give a big warm welcome to Mr. Don Stenberg.
Well, thank you very much, Jeremy. Thank you for coming out tonight, and thank you for inviting me to visit with you. Freedom is a very important topic. As we stand here tonight, our freedom is threatened by Islamic terrorists, by the government of the United States, and by the Nebraska Democratic Party. A little over 9 years ago, Islamic terrorists attacked America. The attack of September 11 was an attack on freedom. It was an attack on freedom of religion by religious extremists. It was an attack on freedom for women by men who would deny women any rights and even an education. It was an attack on democracy by men who demand an Islamic dictator. And it was an attack on our right to life as individuals and as a nation by men who shout death to America. This threat to our freedom is real, and it continues to be a threat to our freedom today. If we wish to continue to live in freedom and security, we must defeat the Islamic terrorists who threaten our freedom and seek to destroy us. As General Douglas MacArthur said, there is no substitute for victory. During the election in 2008, some black thugs intimidated white voters at a polling place. The professionals in the United States Department of Justice charged those thugs with a violation of the civil rights of those voters. But the politicians in the Obama Justice Department dismissed the case. By condoning voter intimidation, the Obama administration threatens our freedom, but we shall overcome. Here in Nebraska, the Nebraska Democratic Party threatens the speakers and organizers of this event with criminal prosecution for speaking here tonight. That threatened prosecution is a blatant violation of our rights to freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and freedom to petition our government. I take this threat very seriously, but I will not be intimidated into giving up my freedom of speech by these threats from the Nebraska Democratic Party. Intimidation of political opponents is how they do it in Venezuela and Iran. And now the Nebraska Democratic Party is trying to do that here in Nebraska, but we will stand up for our freedom. And what is the source of our freedom? Is the source of our freedom a benevolent government? No, our freedom is not a gift from our government. As Thomas Jefferson said, the God who gave us life gave us liberty at the same time. And the Declaration of Independence tells us that the source of our freedom is our Creator. The Declaration of Independence says that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. To secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. And then the Declaration says this, that when any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. Ladies and gentlemen, our own government has become destructive of our liberty. So the time has come to do what the Declaration of Independence tells us to do when the government becomes destructive of our liberty. We must alter that, and we can do that on November 2nd. On November 2nd, we as a nation can throw out the Washington politicians who voted for a federal takeover of our health care. We can throw out the Washington politicians who want to impose European socialism on the United States of America. And we can throw out the Washington politicians who want to increase our taxes to pay for their wasteful programs. On November 2nd, we will alter the government of the United States. There are two competing ideas about the American people. The idea of the elites is that most people are ignorant, uninformed haters who must be controlled by a central government and who are incapable of making good decisions for themselves or for their families. Because of this belief, the elites impose national health care on us and tell us that it's for our own good. They take money from those who earned it to give it to those who did not. They want to be able to tell you what car to drive and what food you can eat. And the elites will decide in the future who gets medical care and who does not. And the elites will tell you it's all for your own good, you poor ignorant people. We're here to take care of you. My friends, this is not freedom, this is tyranny. As a free people, we will decide when it's in our own best interest. The other view of the American people is that they are intelligent, capable people who want the freedom to work and raise their families as they choose without government interference. For those of us who see the American people in this light, we believe in less government, lower taxes, and more personal freedom. Or as Thomas Jefferson described it, and I quote, "A wise and frugal government, which shall restrain men from injuring one another, which shall leave them otherwise free to regulate their own pursuits of industry and improvement, and shall not take from the mouth of labor the bread it has earned. This is the sum of good government," unquote. That is the way Thomas Jefferson described good government. That is the government that we want for ourselves, for our children, and for our children's children. I do not trust the elites. I don't want them running my life for me, and I don't want them running yours for you. Like you here today, I believe in the people. I believe in the goodness of our people. I believe in the greatness of our nation. And I believe that the United States is a nation that we should all be proud of. In 1936, the Olympic Games were held in Germany. Adolf Hitler was in power and attended the opening ceremonies. And the Olympic teams of every nation were instructed that when they passed by the Führer's viewing box, that they should dip their nation's flag in deference to Adolf Hitler. And so one by one, the Olympic teams of the nations of the world paraded by Adolf Hitler, dipping their flags to the Führer. And then came the American team and the American flag. Now the American team believed that America and the American flag should never bow to a foreign dictator. So they marched by Hitler with the American flag held high. Hitler was furious, as dictators always are when free men and women refuse to bow down to them. We need to restore the pride in America that the 1936 Olympic team had. Never again should a president of the United States bow to a foreign dictator. Say.